people just want to be encouraged. And I think if you're just encouraging to them and you're just, you're their cheerleader, that's what motivates people, I think. You can't dwell on what didn't work yesterday. You have to consider what is going to work tomorrow or what you feel like is going to work tomorrow and push. Things are what you want them to be, what you make them to be. Because if you sit on your ass, that's exactly what you're going to get. Nothing.
Welcome to The Creator's Journey. I'm your host, Charles Gupton. Each week, I'll talk with creative leaders who face the same fears and obstacles we all face. What makes these folks effective are the processes they've developed that allow them to push through the darkness to consistently ship their work and make a difference. If you've ever felt that your fears and insecurities are getting the best of you, know that you're not alone. Every creator who works from the heart faces the same challenges. Come join our community at thecreatorsjourney.com for ideas and inspiration that will bring light and direction to your journey.
Here's the key to my front door. You got a pillow if you lost yours. You got a seat at my table. You got a home. Here's somebody who believes you. Let truth remind you. You've always got a place to go to. You got a home.
Tania Dakka is a copywriter and owner of Badass Digital Inc. She's known for her love of bourbon, bikes, and business, and is the copywriter business owners call on when they need the words that transform their talents into money. Ms. Dakka, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here today.
I'm delighted we got together.
Finally.
Finally. I came to know you through your posts in various Facebook groups and through the people we both engage with, such as Chris Brogan's Brave and his Secret Team groups. And we've both engaged at some point with Ash Amberge's posts and writing as well as others. It's been interesting to get to know you in those spheres and just how you interact with folks. I've been fascinated with you. So this is exciting.
Oh, that's scary. I was going to say it's been a fun trip because your sense of humor always trips me up. So it's been very, very hilarious getting to know you, Charles.
Well, I've tripped a lot of people up, so hopefully there's some good to be found there. Well, let's start.
It's a lot of good.
Let's start with your journey from being a high school science teacher to a crafter of impactful prose for business. What got you from then to now?
It was just an act of self-preservation.
How so?
Because once I left teaching, I left teaching when we got married and had children, and it's time to stay home and raise the children, and there was no way for me to function and be a normal human being or some semblance of a normal human being if I didn't create something. So that was where the words came from.
Where did you start your writing process and that end of creativity? I don't generally, it's not as if people who are in science are not, can't be good writers, but those two areas of the brain aren't generally known for overlapping and meshing well. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of conflictive, aren't they? I never thought about that. Yeah, they are kind of conflicting. Actually, it was hanging out in the little mommy groups on Cafe Mom. It's like, I would interact with the women there, and we were all, hemming and hawing about how to make things work and do it right and blah, blah, blah. And the women there were like, oh, you're such a good writer. I'm like, what? and it was really just one or two nudges from one of the women in there. It was like, you really need to consider, a career in writing. I was like, what are you talking about? And then she sparked this little thing like, oh, you can make some side money making, writing blog posts or doing whatever. And so I started investigating that. And next thing I know, I'm an apprentice for an author who had at that time 50 titles under his belt. Now I'm sure it was more like 350 because he's hugely prolific. And so beneath his apprenticeship, I sort of transformed into copy at that point because blog posts are really far more time consuming than what I like. So copy was more fun. It was snappier and called for a little less bandwidth than blog posts do. So
wow.
I made my transformation there.
Well, from my observation, your online branding initially comes off as kind of this brash, badass, take no prisoners presence. But I watch your responses to other people's posts and requests for help over time, and I've come to see a different side in which you take a very thoughtful, helpful, really kind of a nurturing approach to getting people unstuck. You have a mix of kind of sarcastic, cross me and I'll cut you exterior mixed with a how can I help you reach your greatest potential kind of interior?
I guess that's the yin and yang in everybody.
You've got a pretty good yin and yang in my observation. Some of the care that you showed for some of the hardest students to reach when you were a high school teacher, as well as some of the comments I've seen on your posts, give me a sense that you've got, again, this hard shell exterior, but it gives way to a really caring interior that a lot of people may not see, but there seems to be this incredible caring, nurturing, thoughtful side of you that you don't let out a whole lot.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to have to request that you don't publish this now that you've said that.
No one can know Tania.
No, I mean, the whole badass thing is like, it's not about necessarily, I mean, I do love knives. I love guns. I love bikes. And the things that make people tough, I do love, but it's not that I'm, hard ass to the point where, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do, whatever. But it's badass. The whole definition behind badass is just kind of seeing your calling and making it happen and not being deterred from the path. It's not being hurtful. It's not being neglectful. It's not being whatever. It's highly supportive if that's what your destiny is, so to speak. So it's about being not sidetracked. I was going to say unsidetracked, but unsidetracked is not really a word, is it?
It is now.
About not getting sidetracked. Yeah, I made it one. There you go. So, I mean, it's badass. It's a determination. That's what it is.
Well, so much of what you preach and you practice in your work with your clients, it seems to me to be to the critical importance of a business distinguishing itself from the masses by learning to speak in a voice that's genuinely their voice. Mm-hmm. Why is that important in your work with clients?
Because the women that come to me, I can read I say women because at this point right now, most of the people who are gravitating towards me tend to be female coaches, but I do franchise work and I do branding for larger brands as well. But the people who come to me, and these are the people who would need that standout kind of thing, they get kind of frozen when it comes to writing whatever it is they need to write. And they're like, and it's very robotic sounding what they've got on the page. And it sparks nothing with you when you read it. And when you want clients to read your website or read your copy or read your sales page or whatever, you want them to be emotionally charged by the time they're finished with it. And I'm a transformational coach who takes women by the hand and helps them, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, stop. Because I stopped when you said transformational coach. I didn't finish reading anything. So standing out online is part of saying things that make their brain wake up and take notice, so that they are endeared to you and they want to give you their money.
Well, discovering one's voice is really hard work. How does a business or a person go about doing the work that helps them find that place, that true voice that they are speaking from?
I was going to do a whole series on this, but it's not an easy answer. You know how I found mine was when my mother died. So it could be events. It could be just digging into your brain and saying, okay, who am I? It could be just, free writing for days on end, what is this and who am I and what do I feel? And sort of addressing your beliefs and your approaches to life and using those to translate what it is that you want to convey on the page.
Yeah. When did your mom die?
2013, she passed away. And that's when Badass was born. I mean, I was TaniaDakka.com until that time. And it wasn't really driving. And what I was doing wasn't really working. And I said, I need to do something. Something's just there was an inspiration to be who I really am. And for lack of a better word, I really hate that I came out with badass because it's such a cliche word, but it's worked out very well.
You talked about it making a shift. How did that shift happen? You talked about free writing and some of the things that you did through there. What thoughts or processes did you go through to cope or deal with your mom's passing that brought you through that to where you are?
You just, when you feel like crap every day, then obviously something is not working. It's not, things are not aligned. So you have to dig into yourself and you're like, what is going on? Why do I not like this? Where do I want to be? What is it that I'm doing that I don't want to do? What do I wish I were doing right now? Where do I want to be? And taking those things and making them, your guidance for your daily decisions, basically. And it's not an easy journey at all for some people. Some it's, they snap their fingers and, oh, look, here I am. I'm 100% me. And those are awesome. And I look up to those people, but not everybody has it very effortlessly. But you have to be able to face your demons and put them out there.
Through the years, I found getting clients that we work with to become comfortable with finding and being willing to develop their voices is probably one of the most difficult challenges we face.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get your clients to do that? Because again, like you said, you're going deep into some demons at times to get that stuff out there and work from that place.
I do it for them.
Oh, good. How do you do that?
Well, by getting to know them. They through questionnaires that I send out and whatever, but that is not the essence, what I've seen, because whether or not, okay, the copy on the page is sort of a summation of all the research and the little nuances that I've read through Facebook posts or blog posts or interactions and emails. And so I take, how I see them and how I see that they see themselves through the questionnaires that they answer. And I take that and I translate it to the page through my own eyes. So it sort of, because when they write, it's not that they're not trying to be authentic to themselves.
Right.
It's more like they're nervous about being authentic. They don't really know how to be authentic because they do it. You kind of freeze up when you look at the screen. I do it all the time. I have to sit down with pencil and paper. I can't even write on the computer.
I get that.
I sit down with pencil and paper and I just, start writing about something different. And then I'll let those questions float back into my head and then go off on a tangent on whatever question it is that I'm trying to solve or whatever problem it is I'm trying to solve and go from there. So there's a whole research process that goes into creating copy. It's not, and I don't teach people how to do it because I don't know how to teach people how to do it. It's like part of what's
the fiber of your being.
My mind just reads.
I keep digging into this because I think that we live with this facade of everything must be going great and I've got the greatest spouse and the greatest clients and, oh my gosh, most amazing clients. I love my work every day. Mm-hmm. Kind of world is not an authentic voice to write copy or to present oneself in a manner that really helps people through their dark or struggling times. And it seems to me that most businesses are either helping people move towards a good, pleasurable place mm-hmm. or away from a difficult, trying, or stressful place in their lives. Mm-hmm. And what I see put out on social media doesn't really give me an assurance that a lot of people can do either one of those. They're just inauthentic. They're fake to me.
It's hard. And how do you know? You have to do research. You have to do the prep work. I did a whole freaking blog post on prep work this week, which obviously, well, it's not going to make it out because I can't freaking get it right. But the whole thing about anything you do, whether it's your own business or trying to change somebody's life or trying to make a decision about something you need to do,